Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 2CTV with the latest update from the so-called pro-Palestinian protests across the Western world. A bunch of far-left activists going hand in hand with Islamists who hate the Western civilization and Western values. This one is from New York City. Surprise, surprise. Last night we had some clashes in Manhattan and other parts of New York City, which caused some chaos because a lot of people in the authorities were surprised about where they were going to be going, and the NYPD and New York police, of course, decided to be robust against these nutters. In this video, we're going to give you guys all the details and videos we have from New York. Alright, so let's see what's happening actually. Big thanks to Freedom News for providing us with all these videos from New York. Pro-Palestinian protesters were blocked by the NYPD as they tried to reach the 30th Street in Manhattan during the Flood Manhattan for Palestine and Lebanon. There was a whole rally. Apparently they were chanting NYPD, KKK. You're all the same basically. Considering that a huge percentage of the NYPD officers are black, they're very KKK, aren't they? They want to defund the NYPD as well. This occurred while Joe Biden was in New York for a campaign event where protesters, of course, were trying to be near him. Multiple protesters were arrested. The sad thing is for Joe Biden is with or without the Palestinian protesters, he was not receiving a good welcome from New Yorkers. You might be surprised to hear that New Yorkers are sick and tired of Joe Biden. Whoa, who would have thought? The same Joe Biden who was loved in 2020. Of course, he wasn't really loved. The US Democrats managed to trick the people who live in Harlem, people who live in the Bronx, Brooklyn, other parts, to basically support Joe Biden. And of course, now they're all on Team Trump. Let's quickly go to some of these videos. They've been chanting, we're doing this for Palestine, without realizing that Palestine doesn't actually exist. It never existed. It's not even a thing. Stop trying to make Palestine a thing. All right, let's go to the first video we have from New York City. I don't know if you noticed at the end of that clip, the guy was standing on top of other people. In New York, they were literally flying the flag of Hamas. Like, we don't even have that in London. Now in London we have also a bunch of nutters, and at times we've seen them fly the black flag of Islam and all this. Yes, there's always one or two that proactively and vocally support Hezbollah, but in New York, in Paris, in Toronto, in all these big cities, it's become such a normal thing to not just claim, we are just here to protest for the innocent civilians in Gaza. No. They proactively and passionately say, we are here to support the Islamists, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and everybody else, the Islamic Republic of Iran. And they fly their flags freely, and literally a terrorist organization. By the way, we have some spammers in the live chat. We're going to get your reaction in the live chat, but if you spam the live chat, if you keep copy and pasting the same thing, keep messaging every 10 seconds, every 2 seconds, you will be banned from the live chat. It's free speech. You can say whatever you want. Even if you hate the channel, say whatever you want. But if you keep posting the same, every 2 seconds, if you keep messaging, you will be banned because you're taking the time from other people. All right. I feel like a teacher. Anyway, it's just your final warning. If anybody does it, don't get upset if I ban you. All right, let's go to the next video from New York. Again, big shout out to the Freedom News TV for providing the videos. Right, absolute mayhem. Of course, they were chanting NYPD, KKK, blah, 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 you're all the same or something. Whatever. So let's quickly address something. There are a number of people, even on the political right. So we always talk about the political left, and political left are snowflakes. They have mummy and daddy issues. They got mental illness. They get triggered. They're sensitive with words. But let's be objective. There are also some people who are not left-wing who are also like this. There are people who don't understand the real world. There are people who don't understand how media works. There are people who don't understand politics or journalism. They are sensitive. They need professional therapy. And in this video, we're going to talk about that. So there have been a lot of people who don't understand how broadcast media works compared to press and journalism. Let's quickly respond to this comment. It's related. There's a comment. There's a person called All Eyes on You saying, mate, stop stealing APWES content. Now, you might be like, what is this about? APWES. This is the, what is it called again? Antifa Public Watch Official. It's a very good account on X, on Twitter, and the job that they do is, it's just a small independent Twitter account. They have 15,000 followers, very good. They expose far left extremists, right? And I didn't know they existed until now. We did a video earlier on about the BBC Question Time. Apparently, of course, the Antifa Public Watch Official account on Twitter have done a great investigative work. They've done a great job, found all the materials on the BBC Question Time audience. Now, when we were trying to prepare this, we got the same information, but not from them directly. Obviously, everybody else have been sharing it, the pictures, the photos that they've done. I didn't know it came from them. But now we know. And then when I discovered, I was like, okay, let's do a post. So I posted on X saying, this is the video we've done, saying big shout out to the Antifa Public Watch for doing a great investigative work. Give the account a follow for more exposés. It's important to support each other when you are independent media outlets, but at the same time, there's a difference between investigative work, press, and broadcast media. 2CTV would not claim to do investigative work ourselves if we haven't done it. The point of the broadcasters is we get the news from the press and journalists. That's the whole point. BBC does that, Sky News does that, 2CTV does that, Fox News does that, everybody does that. We take the news from those who do investigative work. Sometimes we have exclusive stuff, but most of the time we take it from those who do their work. Now, with this case, we didn't know it came from there because what they did, which is a great job, they actually, everybody else was sharing the pictures and videos they've done, so I didn't know where it came from. The producers of our producer on 2CTV obviously helped us find it. We didn't know. But there are people who don't understand how media works having a meltdown. You see the issue? There are literally now NHS therapists. It's not really that expensive. It's free. Don't be offended. Don't be a snowflake. Do your own work, and if somebody steals your work, work harder. That's a terrible advice. Anyway, enough of people who don't understand how media works compared to investigative press journalism. Also, give a big follow to the Antifa Public Watch. They're a very, very good account. I just discovered them. Very good people. Okay, Chaos in Manhattan. Obviously, again, Freedom News TV have been behind all this as well, saying hundreds of pro-Palestine protesters stormed the James A. Farley Post Office, the building in Manhattan, clashing with law enforcement in riot gear as they attempted to reach a Biden campaign event. The whole thing is completely chaotic because one of the main reasons that Joe Biden was going to go to Manhattan was because he was told that you are losing the liberal support across New York, whether it's Manhattan or the Bronx or Brooklyn or Harlem and anywhere really. And the whole point of it is they literally said, well, you are protected because we're going to take you to a corner where it's just going to be full of Joe Biden supporters. Didn't really go well because they essentially promised the leader, the management of their team Biden, that we've got NYPD protecting everything. Didn't really go too well because the NYPD were surprised where a bunch of Islamists on the far left tried to target the actual event. The whole of the political left continue to eat themselves, and every single time we expose this, they deny it. They continue to deny it. They don't understand that the backlash is coming from their own side. Same thing with Keir Starmer and the Labour Party. Yes, they're going to be forming a new government. I'm so proud of Keir Starmer. He's done a great job. He's loved by the country. Again, for those who don't understand, that's sarcasm. But now you're going to get opposition from the political left inside the Labour Parliamentary Party. That's what's going to happen now. Of course, that's what's going to happen. The opposition is not going to come from the Tories or the Liberal Democrats, who are going to be the largest party. It's going to come from the far left. They're going to eat themselves. Let's go back to New York City.
Up on the sidewalk. Up on the sidewalk. On the sidewalk.
I mean, what? What is the point of this? What are these people? Seriously, it's so embarrassing what is going on, especially in the United States, because we have our own problems in the UK. We already know that. And the fact that there is a lack of effort from the mainstream press to actually do anything about this is a big concern. Again, big shout out to Freedom News TV in America for doing this. The problem we have in this country is that in terms of broadcasters, new media broadcasters, obviously, because our job as broadcasters, 2CTV, is to basically get the news out. The news that is basically investigated by the press. In America, there is a lot of people doing this. In this country, there are not many people. Now, we've seen some of them at the 1st of June rally with me, with Tommy Robinson, and a few others. We all got together, supporting each other. Paul Thorpe is a good one. Obviously, I'm biased because he's a good friend of mine, but many others as well. But the issue we have is that in America, this issue is becoming so huge, but they have one good thing. New media in America is acceptable. New media in America is now credible. In this country, we're still fighting for that credibility because we're not accepted by the big tent of the Westminster bubble. That is the main issue. More people are watching 2CTV every single day. We're getting 1 million views a day, more than BBC, more than Sky News, more than Channel 4, more than GB News, more than all the other weirdos. We are getting more people from across the country and across the world, over 500,000 subscribers. But at this point, we've done so many exposés. Some of this stuff, obviously, we've done on 2CTV is exclusive stuff. But most of it, we are the broadcasters. We don't really create the news. We just report it from the actual journalists and the independent journalists and investigators who do it. But we've done a couple of exposés. People heard about it across the whole world. Nothing. No statement from their political leaders. No statement from the actual establishment, from the mainstream media, the BBC and Sky. They think they can ignore us. They can't. The whole game is changing. They don't realize exactly what's going on. They think they can continue with their propaganda, and every single time they do it, it backfires massively. Let's quickly go to some of the comments, and I'm going to get back to some of the latest videos we have. First, let's go super chats. Stephen, thank you, Stephen, saying, do you plan on making more merchandise? Yes, actually, I'm going to talk about that. Would like to have a 2CTV morale patch for my rucksack when I come for 27th. So there's been chaos. The merchandise stuff. I don't really do merchandise. we did it before. Obviously, we've done. We've still got the shop link. But I don't really do that sort of stuff. I don't really want to sell stuff. But you guys have been giving us so many comments recently saying do more merchandise. So the other problem is that we can't really do slogans that you could wear as a t-shirt or whatever on the street without getting stabbed. But I think I've come up with some new ideas for mugs, for t-shirts and all this. It's also there's a lot of effort, but we'll do it. We'll do some new ones. Barbara, thank you for your Barbara, saying, I wonder what they would do if the KKK from the 60s had turned up. Now, the thing is, the KKK people, actual KKK, including David Duke and all the others, actually support the Palestinian side. Obviously, the actual far right, the traditional ideological far right, hate the Jews. They are on the side of the Palestinians. He literally held the event recently. Jasper says, no such thing as Palestine or Palestinian. True that. Well, Palestinian, yes, because it's people who live in the territory were Palestinian. Jews, Christians, and Muslims. They just changed the word to Arab Muslims. Not their land, never was. Yes, the Arab Muslims were not from there. They brought them from Egypt and Jordan and all the other places. The Fakistinians, I love that, started the conflict in Lebanon, and of course, 90,000 native Christians lost their lives, and they do that all the time anyway. Scott says, I'm genuinely confused by the left and their fellow Islamist travelers. WTF is going on? Lefties kicking off in lefty land, whatever could go wrong. And this has always been the case. 1979 paramilitary coup in Iran by the Islamists were actually done by the political left, the communists funded by the Soviet Union. Then the Islamists came and destroyed the commies. David says, mark my word, the left are not afraid to manipulate and encourage the more active sides of their ideology to subvert the democratic process if their guy doesn't win. That's true for the UK as well. The issue is when it comes to the far left, they don't see Joe Biden or Keir Starmer on their side. That's the funny thing. But they would rather choose Biden and Starmer over Trump or Nigel Farage. JJ says the ADL, George Soros, and the billionaire investments in anti-white Marxism really paid off. It never works though. They just waste their money. It does create division. If we had a real president, these people would already be on a boat heading back to their country. Or maybe a helicopter trip. That's a joke. That is a joke. Do not sue me again. Alright. David says, the first time that I've watched 2CTV, a vast improvement on the biased UK mainstream media. Thank you so much, Mr. Butler, for your observation. Jasper says, we know the difference. You don't. Oh, this is about when I explained the difference between broadcast media and investigative press journalism. We know the difference. You don't have to explain that. Those Fs want attention, is clear. No, it's just a bit, I don't think people know the difference, and obviously Jasper knows, and smart people know, and I don't think many people know the difference between investigative press journalism, even on X, that's still press journalism, and broadcast media. Broadcasters, we don't create our own news. We have to report on what journalists have reported. That's the whole point. People come to channels like TCTV in one hub to get all the news. Otherwise, they're going to have to manually go and check different websites and different newspapers and everything else to get all the different type of news. But we create a hub so that everybody could just come and watch from one place. Make it easy, the aggregate of the news. Mary says, Islamists are doing this all over the world, and a lot of news never tells us the truth. Well, again, they don't do what 2CTV does. The news is out there. You can see what's going on all around the world. But the fact that the broadcasters don't report on it, there are two reasons. One is their own political agenda. But there's another problem. A lot of them don't actually want to follow the truth, because most of the truth comes from independent journalists and investigative journalists. And they've been told by their lawyers and their corporate bosses, no, we can't trust this person, or like, this is just probably fake news. Just do your own work then. If you find a news story, like, we found the stuff about the BBC stuff earlier, then we have to double check to make sure, well, we got all these pictures and videos and everything else, is it true? So we had to do our own digging, go on the same website to find out this is this person's CV, this is this person's picture. You have to do your own due diligence. You have to double check. You can't just be like, well, yeah, someone said something on Facebook, we should just talk about it. Deport all Islamists because economies, my country down by Islam's. Mr. Trump, kick Islam in your country. You must see economies. Indonesian. There's that. I mean, yeah, I think I can get the gist of that comment, because the impact of it's not really just about mass migration. It's about those who don't share our values in the Western world. Of course, it's going to cause trouble on a societal level, cultural level, economic level, political stability, and national security. Oh God, we have someone having a meltdown again because they didn't go to their therapist. Billy says, Maya, stop being a pushy. Call on Brits to fight fire with fire like those Islamist loons. Probably sitting on the keyboard in the living room, telling other people to go fight on their behalf. Billy. My job is not first to tell people to go fight while I sit here in my living room. My job is to report the news. My job is as a broadcaster to just tell people the truth. My job is not to incite violence. Firstly, I'll go to jail if I tell people to go fight fire with fire. The police are going to knock on my door. Secondly, that's not really the right solution anyway. If you're going to be frustrated, there are so many different ways to do it. You can either leave, move to Canada, move to the US, move to South Africa. You could either just stay at home, complain. You could start a fight yourself, but you have to obviously accept the consequences. There are different ways. There's so many different options that one could do. One could kill themselves because, this is the end of the world. That's when I'm just going to kill myself, right? But sitting there doing nothing and telling other people to tell other people to fight, that's not really the right solution. Because those who have experience in revolutions all around the world throughout history understand that bloody revolutions will create a bloody destiny. The children of the revolutions are the first targets. Do not want or call for conflict or civil war. You will be the first to go. That is the reality of the situation. Look at France, look at Russia, look at Iran, look at every single country that went through the same thing. Look at the Civil War in America. Look at every situation, even the War of the Roses. And that was the establishment fighting and claiming that this was a civil war in England. Bloody revolutions create bloody destinies. That is a reality. If you're frustrated, either change your medication, go see a therapist, go play football, or go watch comedy on Netflix. If you want to fight, come up with a proper strategy. Don't ask broadcasters to tell other people to go and start conflict when we're all going to go to jail if we do that. And we're all going to lose. The only solution is use the current method while we still technically have it. In America, we have Trump. In France, we're getting Le Pen. In Canada, Poilievre. In Argentina, Milei. In this country, you have to be a little bit patient. But the change is coming. You simply need a bit of a shake-up first. You need political leadership that will tell the establishment, the rest of the bureaucrats in the Whitehall, to shut the F up. Change. Firstly, shake up inside the system. Secondly, shut down the borders. Mass deportations. All the illegal migrants and foreign criminals and anybody that does treason, anybody that incites violence and want to bring down the system or plant the black flag of Islam on top of Buckingham Palace. I don't care if you're born here or not. I don't care if you're ginger or brown or blonde. We need to bring back the policy of exile. I forget about deportations, expulsions. You should be expelled from the country. I will call on the United Nations to create a neutral zone, in some island, send everybody there. I don't care. It doesn't have to be a prison. Just an island. Just go live there. You need to become stateless. I don't care if you're born here or not. That's the only solution we're going to have. You need to bring back harmony. If you want to go start a fight, you'll be the first to go. There were some people in Iran in 1979 who were frustrated, because of all the propaganda coming against the Shah. They thought the Shah was a bad guy. Guess what happened? When they helped the far left, the communists, to do the paramilitary coup, and the Islamists came and stole the revolution, and then they killed the communists, the same people who started that bloody revolution, they were the first to go as well. It never ends well. Do not fight fire with fire. And do not be a coward. Do not surrender. Fight it with water. Pour water on fire. and then destroy it and kick it. Do not surrender. Do not allow it to continue. Do not be diplomatic. Do not be nice about it. But do not fight fire with fire. There are different ways of doing it. Mass deportation. Keep that in mind. Someone said, you had me until you mentioned gingers. Gingers are always an easy target. By the way, some of my best friends are ginger. It's okay. I can say it. Also, Bamban has a bit of ginger in the back of his neck. So technically, he's half ginger. We have someone else having a meltdown. Vince says, Maya, F democracy, F the Persians, F Islam. Whoa, they're very different people. F the royals. You will never exile white men from England. I don't think this person knows what this channel is about. Can I just read this again? Maya, F democracy, F the Persians, F Islam, which is already a contradiction, by the way. F the royals for some reason. Then it said, you, as in me, you'll never exile white men from England. Is it because I mentioned the gingers? That was a joke. That's war talk from you and invade. I don't think Vince knows what he's watching. I think he thinks he's watching BBC News or something. Now, I've been joking. I've been like slightly harsh today about some people who said something that they didn't know what they were saying. And these are good people watching TCTV. I made jokes saying go see a therapist. But actually, objectively, I think Vince does need to go see a therapist. This is not normal behavior. I literally said the opposite of everything he's saying. That's war talk. I said, don't do war talk. That's a bad idea. And I said, you need to deport the invaders, not the white men. Why would you? And also, I'm against Islam. But why does he have a problem with democracy? I'm very confused about this. Oh, Vince. Oh, Vince. Oh, well. Timothy says you are totally correct in what you say, Maya. See, Timothy is a good person. Well done, Timothy. Chris says, wake up, Vince. It's just funny. It's funny. Oh God, this person's back. You are a cool Iranian. I hope they don't kill you. I've been knife stabbed in Copenhagen by Muslim Danish Pakistan. Bloody hell, what happened there? Why is there a rainbow flag in the comments? Also, try not to get stabbed by the Islamists. It doesn't feel good when it happens. See, Boxon says their 2C is more British than most English are. Not really sure about that, but yeah, I'll try. Do we have any more haters? Oh my God, I forgot to show you the last video. Let's go to the last video from New York City, the clash between the Islamists and NYPD.
Where are you going?
New York City. Scooter Caster, New York, thank you so much for that video. Let's go to some of the super chats. Crusader General from the US says, leftists and Muslims are two sides of the same coin. Satanaka, Allah is their God, and I'm not saying that. aka the Antichrist is the role model. Another one says, absolute truths don't exist. Aristotle and Plato. Do I have to pick? I'm not going with Plato. I'm not doing Plato. Well, he was right on some things. Yeah. Hello Maya, I am new to your channel since I am on football debates, but I am with you on this issue. And currently I'm struggling to land a job. Reform. Thank you very much. What football debates? What? Also, I'm slightly nervous about tomorrow's game, but let's not remind myself of that. Adias from Israel says, hello 2CTV, thank you for supporting my country. We Israelis fell in love with a British woman called Natasha. Of course, yeah, I know Natasha. Her stuff, have you heard about her? Yes, I know her. She's amazing. Let her know we love her so much. Natasha is a good lawyer in the UK who also stands up for British values, but also the Jewish community in Britain and in Israel. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back shortly in about half an hour or so with more updates. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.